Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rebecca Livermore, the Office Creative. So here's the deal. There's so much content out there and it can be hard to find a channel that's right for you. So I wanted to record this video to help you decide if my channel, The Office Creative, is a good fit for you. I thought I would start off by describing three things that I believe. First of all, I believe in simplicity. Number two, frugality. And number three, mastery. And I have actually found as a content creator that Microsoft Office has helped me to attain those three things. So let's dive a little further into them, and then I can tell you how I use Microsoft Office in my creative business and how it helps me to simplify things, save money, and how it's also helped me to focus on mastering one set of tools. First, let's talk about simplicity. So the idea here is to use as few tools as you possibly can in building your creative business. If you can use 2 apps instead of 10, why use 10? The second is frugality. I know that I and a lot of other content creators are constantly looking for the next big thing. There's new programs, there's new apps, there's all kinds of new things that you can use in your creative business. But if you're like me, over time, you'll end up spending a ton of money on all of those different tools, particularly if they have a subscription-based model and you're paying for them month after month. Next is mastery. One of the problems with using multiple tools is that you never get really good at any of them. And if you can focus on one suite of tools, and in this case, it's Microsoft Office, the skills that you learn in one program will often carry over into another program, or at least the overall process is similar, and it's very easy to learn one and then another and another. So I want to share with you a little bit about how I ended up on this journey of becoming a Microsoft Office fanatic. I started my self-employment journey by working for some amazing people. I worked for people like Amy Porterfield, Pat Flynn, Michael Hyatt, and Marcus Sheridan. They're all amazing people in the social media and content marketing space. And I really enjoyed working for them, and I learned a lot as a result of working for them. However, one of the challenges was that I was constantly logging in and out of different dashboards. They all used different task management systems and different programs of various types. And so I was constantly logging in and out of multiple programs. And even though I was okay in everything, I never really mastered any of the programs. At some point, I decided that I wanted to start my own business. And part of my desire in starting my own business was to simplify my life, to not be in that situation where I was using so many different programs and jumping from thing to thing all the time and never really feeling like I mastered anything. So when I decided to stop doing client work, it just so happened right around that same time I needed a new computer. And I walked into a Microsoft store, and for the first time ever, I saw 2-in-1 PCs. For those of you that don't know, 2-in-1 PCs are basically a laptop and a computer combined into one. So this appealed to my desire for simplicity because I could have both a computer and a laptop in one device instead of having 2 devices. At that point, I started to think about all of the ways that I could use a touchscreen computer in my content creation. I thought of whiteboard videos and sketch notes and other things. And I'm not particularly artistic, but still the idea of being able to grab a pen and create content really appealed to me. When I was setting up my new computer, I was prompted to install Office 365, which is now called Microsoft 365. And as I installed it and started to poke around, I was really surprised with the number of options that were available. I saw all of these different programs that were included in my subscription, and I really started to think about, can I move my business primarily into Microsoft Office and other apps? And one reason why I wanted to be able to do that was obviously to save money, but also, again, to simplify my life, to have one dashboard where I spent most of my day. So not only would this save me a ton of time and make my life easier, it also appealed to my desire for frugality, which I'll get into now. So the second principle that I want to share that is related to focusing on Microsoft Office for your content creation efforts is frugality. So the main idea is don't spend more than you need on your content creation efforts. Now, it's true, you do need to spend money. You're going to have a hard time building a business if you never spend any money, right? It does cost money, but we can have a tendency to spend a lot more than we really need. And thankfully, Microsoft Office is very affordable. An Office 365 subscription is very affordable, and it can reduce the number of other tools that you spend money on regularly. I'm going to share with you just a few of the tools that I used to spend money on that I no longer do. First is Grammarly. As a writer, I have used Grammarly for years, and the cost of Grammarly is $139 a year. Now, initially, the editor options in Microsoft Office weren't that great, but with this last iteration, I'm really enjoying it. And I did a side-by-side comparison, checking out how Microsoft Editor did compared to Grammarly. And Microsoft Editor actually found some mistakes that Grammarly missed. Now, it's true that Microsoft Editor missed a couple of the mistakes that Grammarly caught, but that is typical with any grammar checking tool that you will use. And for the most part, I was very pleased with how Editor worked for me. And because of that, I've canceled my Grammarly subscription and thus has saved myself $139 a year. Okay, the next is Dropbox. And a Dropbox subscription, depending on what type of subscription you get, but for the lowest level is about $150 a year. Now, with my Microsoft 365 subscription, one of the items included is OneDrive. And the subscription that I have is the family subscription, or home, I believe it's called, something like that. And we can actually have it installed on 6 different devices with a total of 6 terabytes of storage. And I am using in my account, my primary account that I use, I have 1 terabyte of storage available, and I haven't come anywhere close to using that. So I no longer need something like Dropbox. One thing that I love about OneDrive is that I can also collaborate on documents in real time. Next is Adobe Creative Cloud, which costs about $635 a year. Now, if you are a graphic designer, you probably need to have Creative Cloud, but I have found that for what I do, that Microsoft Office is sufficient. I now create all of my videos, my graphics, and other things in Office 365, and so that has saved me a ton of money as well. Next is Kanban Flow, which is what I was using for task management. There is a free version of Kanban Flow. However, if you want to share tasks with other people, such as family or team members, you have to have a premium account, which is $5 per person. So let's say that I wanted to share tasks with my husband. I would have to have a premium account, and he would too, which would be $10 a month. We ended up replacing that with Microsoft To Do. Now, Microsoft To Do is Microsoft's task management system. It's not part of Office 365, but you can get it for free with Windows 10. They bought out Wunderlist, and I think that they incorporated that together with some other features, and now it's a really cool tool. I can share tasks with anyone that I want to, whether that be a team member or my husband, and it works really well. So those are just some of the examples of tools that I no longer use since I switched over to focusing on Microsoft for my creative business. Replacing those tools alone saves me about $1,000 a year. Now let's get into principle number 3, which is mastery. If you use a ton of different tools, it's difficult to master any of them. Whereas if you focus on one set of tools, in my case, Microsoft Office, you get really good at those tools because the skills that you learn in, let's say, PowerPoint often carry over into Word or even Excel or OneNote. As an example, I'm going to show you a comparison of the drawing tools in the different programs. So I'm not going to point out each of them one by one, but on this image you can see there's PowerPoint, Word, OneNote, and Excel. And I took a screen grab of the drawing tools in each of those programs. And you can see that there are some features missing or added in each program. However, the basic way that it works is exactly the same. So if you know how to use drawing tools in PowerPoint, you're going to easily be able to use drawing tools in Word or OneNote or Excel. Now let's get into how I use Microsoft 365 as a blogger, author, and online teacher. So first of all, OneNote is my tool of choice for all types of research, for doing my brain dumps, for even planning out my content. I had used Evernote at one point, but I prefer OneNote now for various reasons, which I might get into at another time. Next is Microsoft Word, and you can imagine that as a writer, I use Word a lot. I tried other tools. I used Google Docs, which it was fine writing in Google Docs, but then when it came time to format, everything was clunky, everything was thrown off. It simply didn't work to format my books in Google Docs. I used Scrivener, but could never get the hang of it. And one of the things that appealed to me about Scrivener was the way that you could organize content and drag content around. But over time, I learned that I could use things like the navigation pane to rearrange my content. And perhaps I'll create a video about that sometime in the future to show you how to organize your long form content, such as books, in Microsoft Office. Now, PowerPoint is by far the tool that I use the most. And the reason is that I can do so much with it. You will see elements in this video, even though this video is a talking head video, you will see elements of PowerPoint in it. You will see some images and some other things that pop up, and those I created in PowerPoint. I also want to show you some other images that I created in PowerPoint. The first is this coloring image. Now, this coloring image I created using shapes and icons that are built right into PowerPoint. This is the type of thing that I do if I'm just sitting around watching TV or that type of thing. I play around with combining shapes, and it's interesting and amazing, really, what I can come up with. So I created this in PowerPoint. Here's an example of color photographs that I turned into coloring images. And down at the bottom right, you can see one of the stickers that is built into PowerPoint. Now I want to just give you a glimpse of a couple of journal pages. If you are into creating low content books, PowerPoint is, in my opinion, the best tool that you can possibly use for the task. So you can see on the left is a calendar page. I created that using tables in PowerPoint. And on the right is a garden to-do list for a gardening journal. There's an idea journal page and also a doodles and idea page. I created all of these in PowerPoint. Finally, I experimented with creating some children's coloring book images in PowerPoint. So I created these images by using some stock photos, layering them and editing them in different ways in PowerPoint. The one on the right, I created a border from stock images, and the background is a gradient background that I created using PowerPoint. By the way, if you're interested in learning to create these types of pages, the coloring book pages or the low content book pages or children's books in PowerPoint, I've created links below to some courses that I have, and I include information on how to get them at a discount. So to recap, I believe that you can use Microsoft Office as a creative to simplify your life by keeping you logged into one set of tools for most of your creative work, saving you money by not having to invest in as many different programs, and also to help you become a master of one tool. You can create almost everything that you need in Microsoft Office, and if you focus on that, you'll master them and you'll get faster and better all the time. So again, I'm Rebecca Livermore, the Office Creative. If this resonated with you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the little bell icon. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.